Okay, good morning. Enough of the crying. I understand. Your favorite teacher's not there today. It's okay. I'm with you in spirit. And I've got old me sitting over at the table over there with the desk over there. Yeah, that's old me. Okay. Older, not old. Sorry, Dad. Sorry. Hey, you guys should feel lucky. Got the old Kraus in there working with you guys. Oh, older, not old. What we're going to be doing is cosine formulas. Everybody's favorite stuff to do in math. It's amazing. So you got to listen to me for about, I don't know, half hour or so. I'm going to randomly do some problems and finish my third cup of coffee at the same time. Oh yeah, third cup. I've been up for a while. I've already done one video for my other class. Now I'm doing your video. I'll try to slow down. But I've had a lot of coffee, so I might drink fast. I might be talking fast. I don't even know. Maybe I talk fast. Maybe I won't talk fast. We'll see. You've already done some of this stuff. It should be old news to you. You should know what you're doing. I will try to make it palatable. Brugers, loving you. I've already had a garlic bagel. Let's see. How's that breath, huh? Pretty bad breath, huh? Sorry about that. Oh, God, maybe I shouldn't be drinking so much coffee. At any rate, here we go. Quadrant 2. There's our angle. Let's get going on this stuff. Let's draw. Triangle in quadrant 2. There it is. It's angle A. We know that sine is 9 over 41. Do a little Pythagorean theorem, and we find out that, oh, yeah, this is 40. Going off in the negative direction for the x value, so we'll put negative there. So the cosine of A is negative 40 over 41. For those of you that couldn't do that magic of finding 40 in your head, I'm assuming that you can do the Pythagorean theorem, and you'll be all set. Tangent, tangent's easy. In the second quadrant, sorry, I was thinking of the acronym I gave Bailey the other day. Because he asked for what's the new acronym, and it's still the same. It's still all students take calculus, but I still go back to the one I gave you, Bailey. Try to use that one today in class. Sorry, Miss Utter. If you want to move, Saluzzo's way back over in that direction, so you can go sit next to her. She's kind of quiet and get some math done. Or, Dad, there's duct tape behind the desk, Dad, so just grab some of that duct tape. I'm sure Bailey could put it on that mouth. Probably chew through it, though. Here we go. Tangent. Tangent's opposite over adjacent. That would be 9 over negative 40, but since we don't leave negatives in the denominator, we'll do that. Ka-jam! One problem done. All right. Oh, yeah, this is for my 4th and 7th set class, so I will be constantly harassing you. If I don't harass you during this video, don't feel offended. It's probably because I don't like you very much. Just kidding. Here we go. Pi to 3 pi, that over 2, that puts us in this quadrant. And in this case, cosine, we're doing A. And we were given that cosine is negative 4 over 5. Now, if at this point in your career you don't know this is a 3, we got issues, kids. Serious mental issues. We got to get a handle on that stuff. So, how about we go negative 3 over positive 5. And since all students do take calculus, therefore, we're taking calculus, which means tangent is positive in this quadrant, and we also know that negative 3 over negative 4 is positive. Kabam! All right, at this point, my father is going to pause this video for approximately 1 minute, giving you time to answer these 12 questions. 12 questions in 1 minute is a little less than, I don't know, it's like exactly 5 seconds apiece. So, go. Yo, Dad, pause it. Oh man, pause it. Let's go, pause it. Hit the pause button. Okay, you're back. Where did my thing go? Okay, real quickly, we're going to go through these. Sine of 30, 1/2. Cosine 30, square root of 3 over 2. Sine of 60, square root of 3 over 2. Cosine of 60, 1/2. How you doing so far? 4 for 4? 4 for 4, 45. Those are easy. Square root of 2 over 2. Gotta have this stuff memorized, kids. It's imperative. Square root of 2 over 2. 135 degrees. It has a reference angle of 45 degrees. Sine in the second quadrant is positive. Reference angle of 45. Square root of 2 over 2. 240 degrees. In the third quadrant, it has a reference angle of 60. It is 60 degrees away from 180. Cosine of 60 is a half. In the second quadrant, or in the third quadrant, it's negative. 210, that has a reference angle of 30 degrees. It's in the third quadrant. Sine is negative in the third quadrant, and the sine of the sine of 30 is 1/2. Sine of 270, negative 1. 330, fourth quadrant. Cosine is positive in the fourth quadrant, and a 30-degree reference angle is the square root of 3 over 2. Ends in a 5, probably a radical, 2 over 2, which of course it is. It's got a reference angle of 45 degrees, radical 2 over 2, and cosine is positive in the fourth quadrant. Okay, turn the page, here we go. What we're going to be doing is randomly going through a number of these problems. Now, none of this stuff should be very complicated. It should be rather simple. We've done a number of these problems already in the past. But we are going to be using our formula sheet, so you need to have your formula sheet out. Formula sheet looks like that. So have your formula sheet out, and we'll be using one of a number of things. We'll be using the cosine. Ooh, we got 3 cosines over here. We got 3 cosines. We're going to have to think about those in a few minutes, double angles. And then we got this cosine of the half angle formula. We're going to be using those. Let's start with cosine 15. We need to make 15 using, and by now it shouldn't be very difficult, we're going to do cosine of 45 minus 30. Now, it's not exactly the same with the cosine functions as it was with the sine functions. You're going to have to be careful. We got to go bop over real quick, and it's a minus. And you'll find out the first thing you'll see about the cosine with the minus formula is you actually put a plus sign in the middle. So make sure you're using your formula sheet appropriately, and you look over. You'll also notice both cosines come first, both sines come second. So in some respects, the cosine curves or the cosine functions are a little bit easier. So we're going to be using the minus. It has a plus, and cosines come first. So this is equal to cosine of the first angle times cosine of the second angle. Opposite sign with cosine, so we're going to put a plus. Sine of the first angle, sine of the second angle. Now, what I always do, because this is what I always do, is I go through and put parentheses times parentheses plus parentheses times parentheses. And we know that the cosine of 45 is the square root of 2 over 2. And because all of these angles are in the first quadrant, everything's positive. Thought I'd start out easy. Cosine of 30 is the square root of 3 over 2. Sine of 45 is the square root of 2 over 2. And the sine of 1/2 is, the sine of 30 is 1/2. I sort of gave the answer away. I apologize. I need more coffee. This is not one you can just directly put into your calculator because we have all those radicals. You have to actually use your brain. Sorry, Bailey. Maybe Miss Utter can help you. No, she's probably moved by now. Yeah, I would have. Okay, back to work. Let's see. Where did my mouse go? Oh, there I am. Okay, so square root of 6 over 4 plus the square root of 2 over 4. And when I add all that up, I get the square root of 6 plus the square root of 2 all over 4. Ka-jam. There it is. Moving on. Next problem I'm going to do is 2. Another adding. Well, this is an adding one. Now, this is the more difficult. See, this should be the easy one. This one is the much more difficult one. So, we're going to write down cosine of A plus B. Now, in this case, I'm not using 45s, 30s, and all that crazy stuff. I'm going to use this stuff that they give us. This thing and this thing. But it's much, 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 much more difficult. Watch what goes on. Let's first use the formula. The formula is, for the plus, is cosine, cosine minus sine, sine. So, cosine A times cosine B, opposite sign for cosine formula, minus sine A times sine B. I don't know, that's a times. All right. So, and like before, I'm going to grab my calculator, or I'm going to grab my things. I'm going to put some parentheses here. Parentheses, 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 minus, parentheses, 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 parentheses. Catch up! People are going too slow. Sickening. Now, I know two of these. I know this one. The cosine of A is 15 over 17. I also know that the sine of B, I don't know if you guys can hear my dog barking upstairs. She's crazy. Sine of B is negative 4 over 5. But I don't know this one, and I don't know this one, and you can't use these. So many people are still trying to use those. You can't use those. What you need to do is come over here. Now let's look at A. A says it's in the first quadrant. So we're going to draw a triangle in the first quadrant. Drawing a triangle in the first quadrant. Triangle A. And cosine is adjacent 15 over hypotenuse, which is 17. Now, I think at this point you probably know that this is an 8. You may not. Use the Pythagorean theorem, find out that's 8. Therefore, the sine of A is 8 over 17. So we just found 8 over 17. Now we need to find cosine of B. So we need to look at B. Now B says it's from pi to 3 pi over 2. So we're going to need to draw a triangle. God, I cannot speak. Must need more coffee. When I can't speak, when my tongue gets tied, I grab the Brugger's coffee because it helps me teach my kids. Did y'all figure out B already? Ah! Ooh. B. Where'd it be? Where's my microphone? Oh my God. Lost my... B. Now we know that the cosine, or the sine of B is negative 4 over 5. And again, you guys should know this is a 3. So this would be, but it's in the negative direction, so it's negative 3 over 5. Now this is one, if you'd like, you can just type into your calculator. This is going to be negative 45 over 85 minus negative 32 over 85. And negative, of course, just makes a plus. So this finally, I think this gives me negative, what's that, 13 over 85. If you just typed it in your calculator, probably what you would have gotten. All right, next problem we're going to do is 6. So we're going to bounce down to 6. So scroll. Oh my goodness. This did not come out right. This should have been a 13 pi over 12, I think. So the first thing we're going to do is convert this to degrees. And I think we've done something like this before. We're going to multiply by 180 over pi. The pi's cancel. And if I multiply that out, I'll give you 10 seconds. 9. Ooh, you guys thought I was going to do something naughty. 195. I believe the answer is 195. All right, so really what we're looking for is to figure out what the heck is cosine of 195 exactly. Now, I could be that kid that comes over to my calculator and goes, oh, that's easy, Mr. Krause. I can do that one. Just do cosine 195. I don't know why I gave that to us. And there's your exact answer. And then they figure they can write all those decimals out and it'll be exact. Please don't do that. It would make me very angry. We're going to have to use the sum formula. And now I got to figure out what two angles are going to add up to 195. Well, one of them's easy. It's just 45. And if you think about it, 45 plus 150 is 195 degrees. Now, this is going to be, it's a sum formula, so boom, boom. Sum formula means we're going to add cosine, cosine, but we switch the sign, minus sine, sine. Now, this is one of the ones I can write. Cosine 45 times cosine 150, switch the sign, minus sine 45 sine 150. Bang, got that. Okay. Parenthesis, 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 minus parenthesis, 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 parenthesis. Grab a different color. How about black? All right, the square root of 45 is square root of 2 over 2. 150. Now let's see. 150 is in the second quadrant, and I know cosine is negative in that quadrant. It is a reference angle of 30, and I know that the cosine of 30 is the square root of 3 over 2. Sine of 45, that's easy. Square root of 2 over 2. And again, reference angle of 30, but sine's positive in this quadrant, so we don't have to worry about a sine. Sine's positive in this quadrant. But it's a reference angle of 30. And the sine of 30 is 1/2. So I can't put this one in my calculator. I just have to do a little bit of math. This is the negative radical 6 over 4 minus radical 2 over 4. And so my final answer is the radical 6 minus radical 2 over 4. You know what? And you can test this in your calculator. Like if I was just to go over to my calculator and say, okay, calculator, let's do negative radical 6. So negative the square root of 6 minus the square root of 2 all over 4. Do I get the same answer? And it matches exactly. This is the exact answer. This is a decimal approximation, not what we want. All right, moving off to number 20. Scrolling, 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 scrolling. And there it is. Now, I don't know why you guys are having a hard time with this. These are the simplest, simplest, simplest equations you can ever get. They take 10 seconds to do. Literally, they take 10 seconds. Let me get my highlighter. How about we highlight in blue? It's so easy, we'll put blue. This is my question. What does this equal? What is the exact value? Now, if you type that in your calculator, you will get garbage. You'll get 0.7071 is what you'll get. We don't want that. We want to figure out what this is equal to. So what I'm going to do is come over to my formula sheet and say, oh, wait, it's cosine, cosine, sine, sine, cosine, cosine, sine, sine, cosine, 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 sine, sine. So that has to be the cosine formula. We're subtracting, and I remember that cosine works backwards. When I'm subtracting here, that's really adding the two angles. All right, so this is cosine of A plus B. Well, what's A? A is 20. What's B? 25. So this is really equal to the cosine of 45 degrees, which is radical 2 over 2. My answer. 20's done. Going back to 17. I don't know why I skipped 17. I should have done 17 first, probably. 255. All right, cosine 255. This one was on a quiz the other day, and I think that's why I wanted to do this one. 255, and then I had like 6 kids just try to make this 225, and kept thinking, oh, it's a 45-degree reference angle. The answer is the square root of 2 over 2, but we're in the third quadrant, so it's negative. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Negative. No, it's 255. Not the same. And I had like 5 people do that. It was annoying. Very annoying. It ends in a 5. That means 45 goes into it. We just got to figure out what we're going to add to get 255. That math should not be that difficult. It's 255 minus 45, which is 210. And some of you are like, well, that's not one of our angles that we know a lot about. We know a lot about 30. We know a lot about 45. We know a lot about 60. I don't know a lot about 210, except, remember, 210 is in the third quadrant, and it's 30 degrees away from 180. So the reference angle is 30. That's what you need to know. There's my dog again. So this is a plus, so we're going to do cosine of 45 times cosine of 210. Since it's a plus, we're going minus sine of 45 times sine of 210. And we'll throw our parentheses in. This should be a times. This should be a times. All right, so the cosine of 45 is the square root of 2 over 2. Cosine of 210. Now, it's in the third quadrant. That makes it negative. It has a reference angle of 30 degrees. I know that the cosine of 30 is the square root of 3 over 2. If you don't know that by now, it's time to learn it. Please. Sine of 45, square root of 2 over 2. Sine of 210, 30-degree reference angle, 1/2. But it's in the third quadrant, so it's negative. Because I have all these crazy radicals, can't type it in the calculator, got to do the math. Negative radical 6 over 4 minus negative radical 2 over 4. That's a crazy 4. Okay, so negative, negative, be careful, makes a positive. So it's negative radical 6 plus radical 2 all over 4. Got it? All right, we're done with those. I got 7 left to do, and then you're going to be on your own. We're going up to 4. Question 4, question 4, question 4, question 4, question 4. There it is. Oh, these are the easy ones. These ones should be the simplest ones. I don't understand why you guys have troubles with these. So this is what I got to look up on my formula sheet. So if I look up on my formula sheet, cosine of 1/2 is plus or minus radical 1 plus cosine A over 2. So I bring that formula over here. Cosine 1/2 of A is equal to plus or minus 1 plus, notice it was plus, cosine A over 2. Now, the one thing that some of you are having a hard time with is, and you're really starting to irritate me because I've only said it like a million times this year, substitute in using parentheses. Come over here. We're going to sub in. This is cosine of x. Okay, so we should be using x. This is what I'm going to sub in. Negative 7 over 18. I know I've talked a lot about doing that in your head, and some of you can, but what I would expect you to type in is just all of this stuff. Ooh, that's terrible. All of this stuff, that shouldn't even be a highlighter. That's like an unhighlighter. All of this stuff under the radical. Maybe it's because I'm in red. So just type that. Not the radical, just that stuff. So, control division. 1 plus parentheses. Control division. Was it negative 7? Negative 7 over 18. Negative 7 over 18 all over 2. I type that in my calculator, and bam, I get some annoying thing like that. 11 over 36. Okay, so this is equal to plus or minus the square root of 11 over 36, which is equal to, now wait a second, I only want the positive, so stop putting plus and minus, the square root of 11 over 6. Done. 13. Same thing. I want to do one more. Let me see what this one's harder. All right, I'm just going to do one more of these. Cosine of 1/2 A. If, and here's what they give us. Now, if I look at my formula, sorry, I had to bring that up. Dog was barking like crazy. So I'm going to use my cosine formula. Cosine 1/2 A. If you ever get a dachshund, know they're going to bark. It's ridiculous. It doesn't say we want the exact, it wants the exact value, and it doesn't say positive or negative, so we got work to do. Oh, wait. No, we don't. Look at this. A is acute. It's a cute little angle. That means it's small. It's in the first quadrant. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's draw the, I have to put the formula in here. So, do I need plus or minus if I'm in the first quadrant? What's that? Eve? Just kidding. If you're here, amazing. If you're not, sorry. Glad to see you back if you are. So, we don't need plus or minus. We'll just use plus. So, we don't even need to put anything. Square root of. Formula is 1 plus cosine of A over 2. So, I'll just sub in. That's like the last problem. No problem. 1 plus, Mr. Krause said use parentheses because otherwise he gets mad and he wouldn't like me when I'm mad. He loses more hair when he gets mad. Not a good thing. Just put, I don't have cosine of A. I don't have it, but I can get it. I certainly can get it. It's not that bad. Oh, I wrote the wrong problem. No, I didn't. Thought I did. I have tangent. Tangent is opposite over hypotenuse. Tangent is 3 over 4, which means my hypotenuse is 5. Should be memorized by now. It's a 3, 4, 5 right triangle. Well, now I know cosine of A. Cosine of A is 4/5, so I just put 4/5 in. Not a problem at all. 4/5. Pop over to my calculator and hit the up arrow because I'm being lazy. And I'm going to check. Oh, what happened to my parentheses? The calculator knows if you need parentheses or not. So this is a 4. And this is a 5. And so it's really 1 plus 4/5 over 2. Enter. 9/10. Uh-oh, that seems annoying. So this is going to be equal to the square root of 9 over 10, which is equal to the square root of 9 over the square root of 10, which is equal to 3 over radical 10. And that we cannot leave. We must multiply by radical 10 over radical 10. And I finally get 3 radical 10 over 10. All right. Little nose scratch. Sorry, kids. That's done. Going back to 3. Problem number 3. Back to the front page. Yes, this is fun. All right. Now, I picked these last because our double angle formulas are a little bit crazy. Double angle formulas right here. Now you know you're gonna use a double angle formula because it says cosine of 2a. So I need to. I wish I could just flip my pencil over and do that. I bet there is a way to do that. I need to use my formulas. Now, the way you're going to pick your formulas is depending on what you were given. In this case, I was given sine. So when you pop over to your formulas sheet, and I need to use sine, I can either use this formula, which is cosine squared a minus sine squared a, or I could use oops, not what I wanted. Or I could use 2 cosine squared a minus 1, or I can use 1 minus 2 sine squared a. We got 3 choices. Well, if I got back, I look back, I go, oh, I was given sine. Well, wouldn't it make sense that I only use the one that has sine in it? This one right here, 1 minus 2 sine squared a. Yeah, of course. So cosine of 2a, picking the correct formula, is 1 minus sine squared a, which is really 1 minus negative 24 over 25 squared. Because remember, this thing right here is really the same as sine of a squared. So that I would definitely pop into my calculator because it's going to give me some obnoxious number. So it's going to be 1 minus parentheses, I think it was negative 24 divided by 25 parentheses squared. Was that right? That's it. 49 over 625. Really? Kind of cool. 49 over 625. Whatever. It's kind of weird. Done. All right, so let's go to my next problem, which is number 9. Number 9, I was given cosine. Okay, so I'm going to do the cosine 2a, or 2 theta, is equal to. Now I'll pop over to my formula sheet and says, oh, you have cosine. Well, if I only have cosine, let's use this one. Cosine squared a minus 1. Or 2 cosine. Oh, that's what I messed up here. I knew that answer wasn't right. I forgot something. Where is number 3? Come on. No. Yeah, problem number 3. All right, so let me look back at problem number 3 because... Sorry, kids. Wrote down the wrong formula. Sorry. So remember, you want to double check your formulas. I knew that answer didn't seem right when I did it. I should have checked. Let's look back at this formula. It's 1 minus 2 sine squared a. So it's 1 minus 2 sine squared a. So it's equal to 1 minus 2 negative 24 over 25 squared. So I go to my calculator, hit the up arrow, bing, bing, hit enter, scroll over, and put a 2 there. That's what I knew it was going to be an obnoxious number. Negative 527 over 625. All right. So let me go back to question number 9. Formula for using cosine of 2 theta when I'm given cosine is, notice I want to use this formula right here. I want to use 2 cosine squared a minus 1. That's the formula I want to use. 2 cosine squared A minus 1. So I just pop them in. Boom, bam, squared minus 1. I was given it's 8 over 17. I just put in 8 over 17. So I'm going to type this into my calculator. 2 parentheses 8 divided by 17 parentheses squared minus 1. I think I got it right this time. Should look nice for me. Negative 161 over 289. Negative 161 over 289. Almost done, kids. That was 9. Let's go take a look at 11. So I decided to do 11 because it's sort of obnoxious, right? What am I given here? I'm given tangent. Look at my formulas. There's nothing with my 3 cosine things that give me tangent. So I'm going to use, just for fun, just to use it. I don't have to use it. I'm going to use one of those 2 formulas. I just don't know which, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you which one I want to use in a minute. So let's go over here. We're in the second quadrant, because that's what it tells us. And it tells us the tangent is negative 15 over 8. Actually, this should be the negative. This should be the positive. And if you do the Pythagorean theorem, you'll end up with anybody, Bueller, 17. Perfect. 17. So I can use the cosine, I can use the sine, or I can use the one with cosine squared minus sine squared. And I'm just going to use the cosine squared minus sine squared. It really doesn't matter. I'll show you that in a second. So we're going to use cosine squared, that's a C, A minus sine squared A, or negative 8 over 17 squared minus 15 over 17 squared. Go to my calculator, parentheses, negative 8 divided by 17 squared minus, parentheses, 15 divided by 17 parentheses squared. And we get negative 1, ooh, we got that same number. Negative 161 over 289. That's really weird. Negative 161 over 289. What if I had chosen one of the others to do? What if I'd used 2 cosine squared A minus 1? What if I'd used this one? So it'd be 2, the cosine squared minus 1. Let's try that. That I have right here. Enter. And that formula would be cosine is negative 8 over 17. Oh, that's why it came out. There it is, negative 8 over 17. If I type that in my calculator, oh look, same answer. Wouldn't matter which formula I used. All right, we're almost done. 12. Oh, 12, cool. So 12 looks tough, but it's really not. Take a look at this thing. It's 1 minus 2 sine squared of something. Well, if I see that 1 minus 2 sine squared of some angle, that reminds me of this formula right here. 1 minus 2 sine squared. I wish I could figure out how to annotate with this. We're going to draw. There's got to be a way to draw. I don't know. So this is what I'm going to be looking for right here. This 1 minus 2 sine squared A. So I know that this formula is really just the cosine of 2A. That's cosine of 2A. That's the formula. Well, what's A? Well, A is whatever this angle is. So this is really the cosine of 2 times pi over 6. Well, 2 times pi over 6 is really 2 pi over 6, which is pi over 3. And everybody knows that pi over 3 is really just 60 degrees. So this is really equal to the cosine of 60 degrees, which is really just 1/2. All that for a half. Last problem, 24. Oh, look. Look what we have here. I'm going to give you a minute. See if you can figure out what that's equal to. You can pause. If you pause it, that's cool. If you don't pause it, then I'm actually going to do the problem, so that really doesn't give you a minute. So if you pause it, that's cool. If not, you can just do it on your own. I'm still waiting. Going to change pens. I'll go slowly. Some of you should be able to do this right in your head. You should be able to say, hey, I know what this is. Okay. If you paused it, that's great. Cosine squared, 2 cosine squared minus 1. Oh, look, 2 cosine squared minus 1. That's the double angle formula for cosine. It's just another one of them. So this is really still cosine of 2a. Well, what's a? In this case, a is 75. So this is really cosine of 2 times 75. Well, that's 2 times 75, that's 150. So this is really the cosine of 150. Let's see, we're in the second quadrant, so it's negative. It has a reference angle of 30. That makes it radical 3 over 2. There she is. Woohoo! All done. And you guys, for homework, have the rest of them. You have the rest of the period to work. Good luck. And maybe the Brugger's coffee be with you. Live long and prosper. Can you do that? How about this? You still watching? You shouldn't be watching. It's kind of annoying. Bye. Bye. So long. I missed you all. Goodbye. Goodbye. Freeze it.